Hello everyone and welcome to the big spring blockbuster extravaganza edition of Bill Chase and the Movies. And this week, why is it an extravaganza you ask? Because I got count them, eight big new movies to review for you this week. And the first one I'm starting off with is one of the biggest franchises of the last decade, the Fast and the Furious series, with this movie simply called Fast and Furious. I think they're getting pretty lazy. But anyway, the highly anticipated fourth installment of the Fast and the Furious franchise reunites the stars of the original, Vin Diesel and Paul Walker. I like the first film because of its fun, wild ride aspect and the characters' likability. The sequels, however, have all been downright terrible and have been prominent on my worst of the year lists. While this one won't make that list, it will certainly not make my year's best list either, as it's pretty much what you'd expect. A movie with big noise, big car scenes, big explosions. They're so far beyond rationality even for an action film, it's ridiculous. That said, however, it is refreshing to see Vin Diesel and Paul Walker back in their original roles, because at least it looks like they are having fun with them, and they want to be there, unlike Diesel's last few films, this was also definitely a step up from the horribly reprehensible Babylon AD. The plot is simple. Years after we last saw Dominic Toretto, he'd been hiding in the Dominican. However, he returns to the US, where he is still a fugitive, but he returns due to the fact that the woman he loved was killed. And of course, he meets up again with Brian O'Connor, played by Paul Walker. So there you have your outline. While, like the previous films, everything looks good and slick and whatever, again, it's just so far beyond inconceivable, even for this type of genre, I just found it very hard to enjoy. The movie also features the return of Jordana Brewster, who I've only liked in one movie in her entire career, and that was the first film of this franchise. And she proceeds to get worse with every movie she's in. Now, you have to wonder, this city where this film is set in has got to have the laziest cops around because there's not one to be found in the midst of all this madness. In this day and age, a TV news copper would be hovering around this within 10 seconds because in a ploy to get ratings. However, I will most likely get the usual just enjoy it for what it is feedback, but to me, what it is just a way too over the top vehicle, no pun intended, that just goes in one tune throughout the entire running time. That said, however, I don't think this film is terrible, and like most action films I've seen in the most 4 or 5 years, again, it's not horribly insulting to my intelligence. However, I did enjoy Vin Diesel here as well as Paul Walker, but yet the reason why this concept worked so well the first time is because it was something a little different. Mostly movies of this kind of subject are straight-to-video B films, and the first one did a great job of turning it into a glorified Hollywood spectacle. I don't think anyone is stupid for enjoying these type of movies, so I'm not insulting any of you fans who do enjoy this. I can see why these films and this franchise is as popular as it is. It's not hard to see that at all. Some people just want to have fun at a movie. But the thing with me is that while there are many action movies I can have fun with and just shut off my brain and enjoy, like one of Walker's previous films, which I mentioned before, Running Scared, but here's the thing I measure with these type of movies. It's quite simple. Shut off my brain and I either had fun or I didn't. My brain doesn't need to be working to not enjoy one of these films, and I'm still going to have opinions about it whether I like it or not. 1994's Speed with Keanu Reeves is a prime example. You just sit back and try to enjoy it, and because while a big chunk of the film was inconceivable, it wasn't beyond inconceivable, and it just came off as so convincing in the film that really you weren't thinking about it. See, in films like this, there's also being inconceivable and looking inconceivable, and that's what this film does. Maybe if the unrealistic aspects in this film were displayed in a convincing fashion, like all great action films, it would have worked. As a matter of fact, that is what makes action films work. While it is a huge step up from the previous film, I still can't, in good conscience, recommend it. That said, however, if you're a fan of the franchise, you will not be disappointed. However, 2 stars out of 5 from me.